My name is Mitsuru Takahashi from Japan. We are honored to be able to make the presentation here to you. Introduce myself. Uh, I'm Open University of Japan professor, Tohoku University professor emeritus. My research interests include social movement and adult education, community education, and museum education, studying from the sociological point of view. As you will understand from listening to the presentation, I'm also interested in art education. In last presentation in Russia, we introduced the neuroaesthetic analysis method of appreciating paintings. In this presentation, we will report on the significance of art activities through example of community-based art activities. Introduction, outline of this presentation. This paper considers the educational significance of art activities such as painting. The claim that art activity improve academic performance is dominant. We'll examine this insist. First part, I think this understanding is limited to the functionalist aspect only, and that it overturns the end and means. The significance of art activity should be understood from a broader perspective. We will therefore consider what is the purpose, following the argument of Amartya Sen. They say it improves academic performance, but they wouldn't mean be more effective. So maybe there are more effective way. Secondly, the position, the academic performance is an effective implicitly assumes that the participants in art activities is limited to children. What about the adult and elderly people? In Japan, more than 30% of people participate in learning activity, including art activities, throughout their lives. In other words, people may continue to participate in art activity throughout lifelong, from child to old age. Thirdly, art is seen as individual experience. In other words, from the individualistic perspective. But I would argue that the significance of participating in art activities is that is the opportunity to participate at large, in society at large, to create a community. As a case study, I will introduce art activity that was developed in community-based. Review of this research. First, A researcher in music therapy and art therapy argues that they contribute significantly to emotional healing, such as the experience of grief. Second, adult education researcher, educator, focus on contribute to community formation and community development. However, although these studies emphasize the importance of emotions and feeling in learning, their analysis are mostly speculative or impressionistic descriptive and therefore lack reliability and validity. Third, transition effect, Littermeyer's studies, some analysis use neuroscience. They insist transition effect. For example, Littermeyer study, he states that listening to Mozart music for the amount of time on the daily basis improves children's cognitive abilities, spatial awareness, knowledge, and decision-making skill. It is so-called Mozart effect. But there are several problems with this type of research. Firstly, the claim that the effectiveness of art can only be determined by performance is problematic. This emphasizes instrumental value of art, but the more instrumental value is emphasized, the less the value of art itself. In other words, the position linked its significance to academic performance is too narrow-minded. Secondly, the position that regards academic performance and effective explicitly limits participants in art activity to children. What about older people? Over the course of lifelong life, there are many different ways of interacting with art activities, and the significance of participating in them varies. For example, does it not make sense for elderly people to appreciate painting or to participate in choral and dancing clubs? What is the purpose of art activities? I would like to take up Amartya Sen's capability approach as a framework for elucidating this. According to the capability approach, evaluation of well-being of life should be considered and evaluated in terms of function and capability rather than in terms of resource and utilities. Then use the function and capability as a key concept. Function means what is done with good and resource. Capability, on the other hand, refer to the human capabilities and that are revealed through the selection and combination of these functions. In other words, freedom is taken to indicate the extent which the various functions can be selected. Thus, capability is explained as the various combination of function, being and doing, that a person can achieve. He highly valued John Rawls' argument about fairness. The political philosopher Rawls' theory of justice, which sets the equal distribution of primary goods as a condition of justice, has been criticized by Amartya Sen. Let me explain why we focus on capability rather than source such as money and goods. In this case, the process of converting resources into capability become an issue. Sen says, consider, for example, children at activity. For example, consider children at activity. Even with the same amount of resource, money, there are big difference in what are children who are sickly and weak and difficult to physically active can do compared to the healthy child. Therefore, we cannot assess our well-being in terms of goods alone. There are differences between people with intellectual and mental disability and those without. And Amartya Sen, while appreciating Rawls' theory of justice, criticized harsh term for being trapped in God worship that dismisses the diversity of people and focus only the equal distribution of goods. Next, for example, if parents don't understand that their children do art, and if their ignorant sense art activity is just a way to pass the time, then children will not participate in art activities. Social conversion factor. If there is no art museum, museum of art in your area, you will not be able to appreciate it there. These personal, cultural, and social cultural conversion factor and institutional factors are transformed into capabilities. This is where capability accept come on. According to the capability approach, evaluation of well-being of life should be considered and evaluated in terms of function and capability, rather than in terms of resource and utilities. Thus, a capability approach enables us to evaluate and conceive of practice and measures that take into account the diversity of peoples. I will explain the argument. Art become more active, creative when it is performed by collaborative activity rather than individual one. Let me give you an example. In our research, we present musical that people affected by major earthquake, tsunami are working on. Victims who have lost their husband and family member are engaged in musical to express their gratitude to them who have taken care of them. And the major factor is a safe environment, is a condition for participation. The work is by people who have fallen into grief, and the musical is joint project, as it is not the individual performance. Next, in the case of appreciating paintings, our research has shown appreciating art in dialogue rather than alone and while listening to the gallery talk, activate brain activities and create more original and creative understanding. If capability refer to human abilities that are revealed through the selection and combination of people's function, these characteristics of art activities suggest that capability can be enriched and improved through connection between people through social participation and collaborative activity. In this report, I would like to clarify the significance of art activity through participation in collaborative activities while introducing example of community-based art education, art activity in Japan. Uh, I show first video. These photos about and this community-based art activity, Tendo Art Road activities, a 1010 exhibition in art museum in local area. This is member of core staff. Free production activities. Making special card with leaves. Making special card with leaves. And flap and peel, sticking and peeling various material together. And painting auto in outdoor. Oh, play with cotton. She sleep on the cotton. Collaborative activity, art activity with schools. And one of the future of project is that careful planned by the core team members. You can see this in the picture. This is core staff. Different ages and the core member seen here discuss the project plan. Note shows the following issue or agenda and discuss. Who is the project aimed at? Communication with visitor through sales activity. How to display the exhibition. Mechanism for learning about the local history. A combination of color and stand out, showing with shapes. Yeah, this note. We summarize the characteristic of art project, art activities, and the diversity of participants and various art activities. Children of different age take part, but the adult join them are also diverse. Artists specializing in art are involving in the teaching. They are artist teacher. In addition, there are young volunteers who take part in project. Art activities themselves are diverse. The aim is not to create art itself. First of all, we are connected with creating opportunity to come into contact with art and to build relationship with other participants. And interaction, make interaction with other participants. Through participation in this activity, we take in place importance on making art feeling familiar to them. Third, we have a diverse way to involve local residents. Most important concern is how to broaden the understanding of people in the community. Last, a conclusion, significance of community-based art activities. First, what is the purpose of community-based art education? Of course, it is important object for children to enjoy their chosen art activities and to development their artistic skills. Needless to say, creativity emerges through art activities. The realization of this creativity as an entire entity come about through the experience of individual non-enemy. In other words, creativity is reflected in the inner experience as an expression of culture. The lived art experience carried creativity by centered voice and bodies that relieve tension in the community and the educational process. Second, it is not built trust and not only build trust and friendship by working with fellow children, but also with adults in community, supported by volunteer and guided by local art teacher. It is practice that further lead to the transformation of community into a more inclusive community. The great significance of project lies in the role it plays in enhancing the well-being in the community. Third, the network is formed and expanded, which is conditioned for the active development of art activity in addition to the art activity. The third is the formation of expansion of network, which is requisite for the active development of art activities. The first social cultural conversion factor is the regular development of diverse art activity in the community and the establishment of an art culture. Furthermore, as an institutional conversion factor, it can be art activity developed in local area by expanding the network of activities through the use of school, community center, museum, which is enrich the elements of conversion factor as described by Amartya Sen. Fourth, through the above process, the capability of participants is enhanced or increased. It is up to each individual to choose which art activity they wish to participate in. However, it is also not a question or just anything. Art projects are carefully prepared and organized by core members. This is an important outcome of project. The local community become a place where these people can be present and nurtured. This is a process of community empowerment. And thank you listening. ありがとうございました。Thank you listening to my presentation.